Hello and welcome back to the Beatdown Bandits podcast, season 3, episode 2. I am Colin, and in today's podcast, I'm kind of revisiting something I did back in season 1 of the podcast. I want to say it was like episode 15 to 17. I think it was 17. I looked it up at one point. I don't remember. It's Cobra Kai, right? So I discussed season 1 back then, and now we're on season 4. Of Cobra Kai. Normally I discuss video games and such on here. It's a lot of Apex Legends, but I want to discuss other things that I'm into, not just all 100% video games. So this is also important to me. Also, what's up with this blue glow? I don't know what's happening. I am not blue. I don't know what's going on. Also, I am maybe due for a haircut because I'm growing wings right here, but I was thinking about just growing my hair out again. A couple years ago I had it pretty long, but yeah, so we'll see. I might do it again. Anyway, so Cobra Kai, and spoilers galore in this. So if you have not watched I'll probably discuss a little bit of season 3 towards the end, and then a ton of season 4. So if you have not watched Cobra Kai up through season 4, you should probably just not listen to this podcast or watch this podcast. So yeah, just throwing that out there. You might want to turn it off if you haven't. Or if you haven't and you don't care about spoilers, then feel free to listen. It's just my kind of 2 cents on a lot of things. I'm really just going to talk about like the characters and not so much the story. I've been kind of watching some like other random things about Cobra Kai on like YouTube, and it's like other people's opinions and predictions on like what season 5 is going to bring and things like that. But I was definitely more interested in like the stuff about the actual characters. And and I don't know, I found it to be very interesting, and just the development of so many of them it's just really interesting to me. So let's get it started. The returning second place runner-up champion Robbie. So we're gonna start with him because I feel like he is the hardest character to figure out in season 4. Because like, dude, like 1 minute is basically like giving away every secret he's ever learned for Cobra Kai about Miyagi-Do, and telling Daniel that it's it's all about winning, and he'll do anything it takes to win. And then the very next minute, he's showing mercy and sympathy to others. But dude is probably the most brutal fighter of anybody there. I would say, especially if you like in his fight with Kenny, like dude just is like, nope, like I'm not gonna show any sympathy and mercy to this kid, even though he's like the person I brought into Cobra Kai and I've taken under my wings. I'm just gonna murder him. And on like the last like kick in the face, that dude would have been taken to the hospital. He would not have like a little tiny bloody nose. That is like a life-threatening kick, especially to like a 12-year-old kid. So but yeah, like Robbie, like I don't know where like he's gonna go now into season 5. Like he's finally like bonded a little bit with his dad. I feel like he is the most likely to switch, like just straight up like quit Cobra Kai. Like, I mean, he was the one that was definitely seeing how Kreese and Silver were during season 4, and the one that could kind of read between the lines and kind of really see what's going on. And he had that talk with Daniel about during the tournament about everybody thinks their style is right. You feel like Miyagi-Do is right, and Eagle Fang is right, and Cobra Kai is right. But that's kind of when he goes on the whole rant of I'll do anything that it takes to win. But like everything kind of mixed together is probably the best option for anybody. And we'll kind of talk about that too. But And then he has that, the ending of season 4 talk with his dad is really good. And I kind of feel like with Johnny going to Mexico to hunt down Miguel. And again, we'll kind of discuss that when I get to Miguel's time, but I kind of feel like Robbie may go. Like he's got nowhere else to go. Like his mom has kind of turned around or whatever and has kind of become, normalized, so to speak. But I still feel like he's still trying to bond with his dad, and his dad is obviously having a really, really, really hard time with seeing Robbie in Cobra Kai. So I feel like Johnny and Robbie are going to be totally bonded now at this point in season 5. And I feel like Robbie is probably also the most likely to kind of team up back with the Eagle Fang and Miyagi-Do, like a co-dojo type of thing. So, because I feel like that's going to happen again. I feel like Daniel and Johnny have agreed that both styles mixed is actually pretty damn awesome. So, I feel like that's kind of be the way it's going to go. But I also feel like Johnny's just done for a bit. And obviously Daniel is going to continue with Miyagi-Do. So let's go to Tori, because Tori might also kind of be in a very interesting situation with Robbie, or not with Robbie, but in the same vein, where she has started to show sympathy, and then with her fight with Sam, obviously she showed sympathy there and actually asked if Sam was all right. And then what she learned at the very end, right when she saw Terry meeting with the ref. I mean, you saw like 3 instances basically where the ref basically cheated towards Cobra Kai. The 2 out of bounds calls, like the one where, oh nope, no point, she was out of bounds, where she clearly wasn't, and then the one where they allowed the point when that person was way out of bounds. And then obviously the elbow to a face. I don't know what the rules are as far as, is that a warning or is that a point deduction? I have no idea, but obviously the dude was paid off to make sure Cobra Kai wins. So that is a whole nother thing. So she's obviously, I think, like the key to season 5 as far as like the downfall of Cobra Kai, because she's got a lot of information as far as that goes. So I also don't know, as far as the judge goes, like what amount of money would it take for somebody to get paid off to rig a karate tournament for teenagers? Like that is that is just, that's just messed up. That's messed up. So Miguel, let's discuss Miguel. So um I feel like Miguel is probably the easiest person to root for and to pull for, like, because he's like a really good fighter, but he's also like the most uh, empathetic person, the most wholesome person, I think, of the group. Um, so yeah, he's easily like one of the most likable characters. He's extremely loyal to Johnny and to Eagle Fang / Cobra Kai / Miyagi. I mean, he just wants to absorb it all in and learn, and he's like really embraced the karate culture, so to speak. So yeah, he's easily the most easy person to root for, and especially after his extreme injury and coming back from virtually being paralyzed to now like defending his title with a whole new dojo. It's pretty crazy. So you feel really bad for him that he was not 100% and just was not able to legit defend his title. So that is like a huge bummer, but like he has no problem with it. I'm also really curious like how old these kids actually are, because like how how many years are they going to continue it with like the same people? Now there's obviously younger people that they're slowly trickling in that they want to bring for the future, but like it's like some of these kids had to have been, I mean, in real life a lot of them are like 19 to 24, 25, but at some point they're like, okay, well they've got to be seniors at this point. So I would think like the last like one more go around of like a third year of it. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, Sam's been driving since season one. So obviously at this point, she would have to be like 18. So I don't know how she could come back again. Now everybody else could maybe. Even Miguel and Hawk. I don't know what grade they're in. I don't know if they've ever actually said that and how old they actually are, but obviously Miguel got his license or whatever this past season, so he may only be 16, and so he may have a whole another year, honestly. So so anyway, with Miguel, with Miguel, obviously who knows what's going to happen with him this season, but it sounds like Johnny, and my prediction is Robbie are going to go down and basically hunt down Miguel, bring him back. So there's definitely going to be some drama and some who knows, like cartel fight scenes between Johnny and Miguel versus the cartel. I don't know what's going to happen there, but I'm sure it's going to be absolutely insane. And like, yeah, how involved is Miguel's dad into crime in Mexico? So there's obviously going to be some drama there too, because like he doesn't even know he has a kid. So it's pretty insane, Miguel's story. But to me, he's like the most likable one. He's the very like most wholesome one that wants to bring everybody together, and do things the best way he possibly can. And so hopefully he can kind of find himself in season 5 and come back and be a total badass. So that's my hope for Miguel. So let's talk Hawk slash Eli, whatever you want to call him now. Okay, not gonna lie, like the Hawk version, I wasn't a huge fan of, because obviously, you weren't supposed to pull for him. You're supposed to be a badass, but he was not supposed to be likable because he's become the bully. But you can kind of see like those moments where he has like, oh, I shouldn't do this, or this is actually my friend, like the whole Dimitri, broken arm situation, and just being an a-hole, right? And then the second he loses his mohawk and becomes Eli again, like he's lost that confidence, right? And one of my favorite moments of season 4 is the second to last episode, that penultimate episode, where he's getting ready to fight and he just has no confidence, right? And he's just down. He puts his head down when they make fun, like Cobra Kai comes by and they make fun of his lip or whatever. And then Moon comes in and like basically saves the day, and like just instantly gives his confidence back. And then like the music starts and he gets that look in his eye of like, I'm pissed off now. And he goes to Daniel and basically says, I know who I am now. And Daniel's, and what is that? It's like, I'm the guy that's going to win this whole fucking thing. And he jumps up on the mat and just obliterates everybody. And the fight between him and Robbie in the finals was totally unexpected. I mean, when Hawk joins Miyagi-Do, you thought, okay, well, Miyagi-Do's got their boy potential champion, right? But it's like it's going to be between Miguel and Robbie, right? Like, and you got to imagine either Miguel's going to win, for the good guys, or Robbie's going to win, to basically get his vengeance back and win a championship, right? And so I did not see Hawk coming anywhere, but I should have like believed his line, I guess, where it's I'm the guy that's going to win this whole fucking thing. So from that moment on, I'm like, okay, now I'm on board with Hawk. Like, this dude was badass, and like his fights in the tournament were really cool because you could see the combination of Cobra Kai Hawk and the Miyagi-Do, like just the defensive aspects with his offensive aspects and aggression that he has. Yeah, Hawk became like a really flipping good fighter when it registered like I got to mix all this stuff in. So yeah, Hawk, awesome. Dimitri was like the most unbelievable transformation, I guess, because like a few weeks prior, like he just wasn't very good. And like even in season 3, like he had the fight where he, kicks Hawk in the LaRusso household like brawl or whatever, where he just wasn't a total, you know, loser or whatever, where he just could not fight. Um, so him becoming like all of a sudden like making it to the semifinals was probably like the most unrealistic thing of that. I just did not see or predict like that would be the thing, but whatever. It is what it is. What it is. It was a good story for him. Dimitri is a very likable character. I just didn't believe like his fighting ability. Like he just didn't have that personality to be able to do those things. And had like the slowest progression, I think, of like his fighting skills. And then all of a sudden, like I feel like things just snapped, and like all of a sudden he's a legit fighter. So I don't know about the whole Dimitri situation, but I'm glad he's just not like a pushover or whatever. Like he actually has skill now. So yeah, good for him. But I don't know. It's hard for me to like really embrace Dimitri. So let's talk Sam. Uh, Sam was the one, and I never like disliked her, but she was like the one that I was not like just like the biggest fan of when it came to like the main characters and fighters of the show. And I recently saw like an interview with Mary Mouser talking about how nobody likes Sam, and I feel like that wore on her a little bit, where she's got like a very unlikable character, and I could see that quite a bit because she's hard to really bond with, or can kind of picture yourself as. Where she's like a little spoiled and gets angry when she kind of doesn't get her way, but she's also like really torn about a lot of things. Like she didn't even want to fight in the beginning of the series. Like, no, like karate is just not for me. And now she embraced it, but she wants to, she really wants to defend herself and be aggressive. And she's um she really embraced the with Johnny of being like the Eagle Fang karate. Feels so weird to say Eagle Fang, by the way, but she really embraced that and mixed it. And then when like her and Daniel kind of came around, and Daniel kind of understood that she's gotta be herself. If Miyagi does not for her, then so be it. But if it's a combination of between the two, then if that's what works best for her, then that's what works best for her. So her kind of like last two fights or whatever with the new girl from Cobra Kai, I forget what her name is, but where she kind of kicked the crap out of her, that was awesome. But her fight with Tori, oh my god, man, like I've watched that fight like 5 or 6 times. Like she became like a total badass in there. Like the cinematography and the music, and like her just like adopting a style like almost like mid fight, where she's like, okay, like I'm gonna combine the two and be this total little badass, was awesome. And like I said, like I've ended up watching that fight like a whole bunch. And obviously I know what happens in that fight. So it's so disappointing because of someone who was like, I don't want to say I wasn't a big fan of Sam before, because I know a lot of people have not been. But I didn't really have anything out against Sam. Like I wanted her to be able to win and find herself or whatever. But oh my god, like she so deserved that fight and that win. With that out of bounds punch or whatever, where that should have been the point. So Tori obviously understands now that and I think also she's come to realization that Sam is also a badass, and that it was a very good fight between the two, and that Sam probably deserved the win because she doesn't know, like Tori doesn't know what was legit and what wasn't now at this point, as far as like the ref being paid off by Terry. So yeah, so I think Tori has come to realization. I don't know what Tori's going to do as far as that goes. Is she going to come out like right off of the bat in season 5 and say, this is what I saw, this is what happened? Or is that going to be something she takes to her grave because she won? So I guess that's something we're just going to have to kind of wait and see what happens with Tori. But I think her and Sam have kind of come to a little bit of an understanding, probably more so with Tori than Sam. I feel like Sam is still a little terrified of Tori and still does not like her or respect her at all because of like the school brawl fight. And then like, the multiple other little attacks. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen as far as that goes, but I do want to give credit to Mary Mouser and Sam because I feel like just in that tournament, for me, I turned around and now I am a Sam the Russo fan. So shout out to her for becoming a little badass, man. Like the little moves that she was doing, I don't know. It was really cool, and it was not what I'd ever seen from Sam before. So yeah, Sam's real cool. So let's talk the new kids on the block. Let's talk Kenny, and what I gonna imagine is his gonna be new rival in Anthony, right? So let's start with Kenny. Yeah, you obviously like feel really bad for Kenny, and you're like, what is Anthony gonna do here? Like Anthony knows, like, okay, I'm being the bully and the a-hole here. So like I gotta make it up to this kid. I need to apologize. He does kind of make a couple attempts at doing that, but has pushed Kenny too far. And obviously Kenny has now kind of adopted that Cobra Kai mentality, became, very hyper aggressive. And yeah, and I feel like Robbie himself has kind of seen that. And I think that's when he kind of showed mercy a little bit to Hawk, where he didn't punch Hawk when he was down because he saw Kenny. And he's like, I can't do this. I can't be this. Because Robbie, I think himself saw like he had become his dad, right? Like he had become Johnny Lawrence and like the no mercy Johnny Lawrence there for a little bit, right? So yeah, I feel like Kenny is like the Cobra Kai of the future. So they're gonna have a few seasons potentially with Kenny being like the main bad guy of Cobra Kai. Hopefully like they don't transition anymore. Like that's the one thing that's kind of driving me nuts is like one episode so and so is with this dojo and then he switches to this dojo and then she goes to this dojo. That needs to slow down a little bit, and people need to have some loyalty and allegiance to certain dojos. I'm hoping that's settled down, but obviously Robbie and Tori and maybe even Sam at this point is kind of torn, but I feel like she has embraced, kind of come to an understanding with her dad and Johnny. So maybe Sam is settled, but Tori and Robbie are all over the place at this point. I don't know. And even like Miguel, I would imagine he's still going to be loyal to Johnny, but obviously, that heartbreaking moment where Johnny's intoxicated and says, I love you too, Robbie. Like that's pretty devastating to Miguel. But obviously Miguel's got to have some understanding there of what Johnny is going through. And I think, he sees like that bond where he's just torn apart. And so Miguel's got to go find that piece and find his dad and kind of see what that's all about. So I totally understand that. But jumping back to Kenny, and I gotta imagine also maybe Kenny's brother is gonna like get out of the juvenile detention center and is gonna be also joining Cobra Kai. So may also be kind of one of those baddies for the next season. And then Anthony, like, so obviously the little twist at the end is Daniel is not going to honor the deal about stopping Miyagi-Do, and has joined sides with Chosen. So Chosen is back, or not back, he is in the United States and is obviously teaming up now with Daniel. I would predict that he and Daniel are going to train Anthony, and Anthony is going to become like another little, Miyagi-Do badass, so to speak. So I kind of think that's where that's going, and there's going to be a rivalry between Kenny and Anthony. I think that's already set up really well as far as like Cobra Kai seasons 5, 6, 7, 8. I feel like that's kind of where that's going, right? So, because eventually these other kids have to graduate and move on with their lives, and obviously can't keep fighting in an under 18 tournament when they're going to be 25, 26, 27 years old here at some point. So let's talk Cobra Kai Sensei's Kreese and Terry Silver, right? So obviously Terry Silver, I think everybody's kind of predicting this or whatever, at least like some of the stuff that I've seen. And I gotta imagine Matt Barnes is going to come back. Terry already slipped in that, there at the end of season 4 that, I can have other friends come and help me out with the other dojos, right? And I feel like that's got, Mike Barnes' name written all over it. So I would imagine we're going to see a Mike Barnes in season 5. Maybe even a little later, like maybe late season 5. I'm not sure how that's going to work out. And obviously Kreese is going to be in jail, but that's a really hard thing to say because it's one person's word over another. So I feel like Kreese is going to get out of this pretty easily. But also like where is Kreese mentally right now as far as like Silver goes, Cobra Kai goes, because obviously there's now a rivalry between Silver and Kreese, and obviously the bond and that friendship is done. Right. So Silver has basically said, you're not going to hold anything over me anymore as far as what happened in Vietnam. That's done. I've repaid my debt to you, and I can't do that anymore. And you're now out of the picture. So I don't know how that's going to shake out as something right there. Does Kreese just call it a day and leave and fake his death for like the 8th time, or what's going to happen there, or is Silver going to be the one that's going to have to take the fall and spend some time in jail for a pretty major assault? And as far as Stingray goes, like what's going to happen there? I'm not a fan of Stingray. I feel like this dude should just not be in the picture at all. I don't know. He's a very likable person. I'm sure the cast all loves him. I don't like it. I feel like that is a character that just should not exist because he's the only adult in all of this stuff, and it just feels real pathetic. That here's like this 30-year-old man fighting with all these 16-year-olds, so it's pretty bizarre as far as that goes. So yeah, that's Terry Silver, John Kreese. I mean, that's a very interesting dynamic as far as wherever the heck that's going to go. And then finally, the Danny Johnny Chosen matchup. So let's say Johnny comes back or whatever. How is this going to work as far as like a dojo goes? I mean, I feel like Johnny can kind of keep that Eagle Fang going. And Chosen is obviously a much more aggressive person that understands Miyagi-Do and has the same exact training but with a much more aggressive approach, and can assist Daniel in training Miyagi-Do students with that much more aggressive style that fits Miyagi-Do than what Johnny's Eagle Fang does. So that could be kind of where this goes, and Johnny just keeps his Eagle Fang going with the students that he has. And obviously they're going to bring on some new folks, through the seasons for sure. Excuse me, sorry, yawning, but a lot of oxygen exhaled through this. So I think that's it. I mean, my prediction is Johnny and Robbie go to Mexico, find Miguel. There's going to be some type of Royal Rumble in Mexico with Miguel and his father. He meets his father. Maybe they bond a little bit, but Miguel understands that Johnny has much more of his interest in mind than what his father does, because I don't know, maybe his father even has his own family or whatever, and he's married with kids, or who knows what's going on there. But I feel like Miguel is going to come back to Johnny. Robbie may even join Eagle Fang, and you've got Robbie and Miguel on the same team, which would be kind of unstoppable, to be honest, if Miguel is 100% come the next season in the next tournament. And obviously you've got Hawk. I think Hawk is going to stay with Miyagi-Do. I feel like obviously that worked for him. And obviously everybody else is going to, I feel like, stay. But Tori, I think, is the one that's up in the air as far as what she is going to do. I mean, if Robbie and Tori both leave Cobra Kai, then I don't know what Cobra Kai is going to do. Cobra Kai would almost have to bring in a whole another group of people, or somebody that we don't expect. Even like somebody like a Sam could end up joining Cobra Kai, but I don't see Sam really doing that. I don't know. Maybe even like, maybe it could be a Miguel. Maybe Miguel could get so pissed off back at Johnny that he ends up joining Cobra Kai. I hope not, because I don't want to root against Miguel. The only time I kind of rooted against Miguel was when he won that first tournament. Otherwise, Miguel has been the most likable character, I think. So I don't want to root against him. So no Miguel and Cobra Kai again. Keep him in Eagle Fang or Miyagi-Do. Either one is perfectly fine with me. So, all right. Well, that is it. I appreciate this. If nobody likes this, or this video doesn't do very good, then I'll kind of stop the non-video game podcasts. I am working on a couple potential interviews. I'm trying to set some of those type of things up, and work on bringing some other people back into this a little bit. The solo casts are just probably not as fun for most people to sit there and listen to, and it's hard to kind of have an internal debate where I could debate with somebody else or have a discussion back and forth. So if you guys have any interest, or somebody that you would want me to speak to, let me know. Comment, send me a message. I've got my all of my socials or whatever. You can contact me below, email address, whatever. So yeah, that is it for me. Again, thank you very much for listening to the Beatdown Bandits podcast. I am Colin, and we'll talk to you all later.